Alrighty. So Paul Angus, take it away, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are around the world. I know some of you are in different parts of the world. I'd really like to thank Paul Thompson and Ken Rizzo for inviting myself and Coleman O'Hagan here. We're two out of the four that's really trying to get the Shining Stars and Des Alps off the ground in the way that we do it. And it's been incredibly successful, better than we ever thought. So all we really want to do, we like this kind of thing where we have the Zooms, where people can sort of ask us, straight out questions and how did you do this or why are you doing that and what can I do? So if you've got any questions at all, put your hand up. We'll take them one by one because we just want you to leave this call being totally confident that you are in the right business for a change at the right time. And you're not going to waste your time, and you're not going to lose your integrity either. So it's very, very important. So, anybody who's got their hand up that wants to ask a question, please unmute your mic and then fire away. Oh, look at that! They're all fully trained, Ken. You've done a great job again. No, nobody at the moment got a question, really? Brian Brock, have you got any?
Yes, I do. I had from the beginning. I had the question. I don't know if I was going to wait or what.
All right. Okay. No, I didn't see your hand up. Right. What can we answer for you, Brian?
Okay. So in the way the matrix works, I mean, I've seen a few matrix, been around a while myself, and they
Yes.
all seem to fail after a certain period of time. Now
Yes.
it seems my understanding of this is this won't fail. How is that possible? I mean, given numbers,
Yeah.
there are only so many people that are going to join this. No matter how long this runs, there's a limited number of people. So my
Hmm.
question is, the last people to come in, will they benefit the same as the first people to come in? And how is that?
Absolutely.
How does that math
Yeah.
work? How does that math work?
Yeah, it will do. And it's the way that Showbiz set it up. It's incredibly clever. The one thing that people really do like is obviously that networking's been reversed. So we keep trying to bring our friends in this business that we worked with before. Come in. Yeah, but I've got to recruit. Oh, you'll be all right. It's only two. Yeah, but I've got to buy products. Well, just buy it for yourself. Yeah, but I've got to build teams. I'm rubbish at that. You'll be good. Get in. And this is what happens. You're trying to encourage your friends to come in to do something they don't really want to do in an industry they know works, but it's never worked for them. So if we take away those obstacles and you can't even send out your link, so no, please don't send your link out. Why? Because that will, if you send your link out, we will put two people under you, every single person, which we have done. And if you send your link out, that's a third person. You get your brother in. That person is outside looking in the bubble. We can't help them. They're literally in the 2x2 program, not ours. So people think spillover is wonderful. Spillover is poison. Spillover is not good at all. And everyone that sees a 2x20 matrix thinks they're going to get lots of spillover. So they might go and get two people to be activated in the normal Des Alps mode. They might get a third one, maybe, and then say, well, you go and get your two. And you can see it building from, I'm talking levels now because we talk in steps. We want to get rid of the, so level one's filled for them. Level two is only 4. Level 3 is 8. When they get to level 4, and they go, well, I've got 9 in there, but I need 16. Come on, guys, get going. My wife won't let me do it. I'm still smoking. I'm burning from the last disaster. And like you were saying, it slows down, and it shouldn't slow down, should it? And then when you think of, oh, yeah, but we've got spillover coming. Oh, yeah, spillover. The person that creates the spillover is the person that gets paid. Right? Not, and it just fills holes. It's like it's a gas leak. So the reality is when it starts to build, there's a lot of energy and synergy initially, but afterwards, when it does start to slow down, it starts to slow down for all of you. And then you lose a little bit of interest. No, I'm not going to really show. There's a Zoom tomorrow night. I won't be on it. No one's done anything this week. There's no reason for you to be there. And that's the problem. With ours, because we have said we'll have a pay it forward system, which nobody else seems to be offering at all. We don't want to leave out anyone that hasn't got any money, because that's the world hasn't got any money. But the stipulation of whether you are self-funding or whether you are a pay it forward, every single person is going to pay it forward for 10 people. So if I said to you, right, Brian, I've got a fabulous business. in the next 2 or 3 weeks, let's let's get your list together. Let's get 10 people in. Oh, Paul, you're having a laugh. 10? I could probably get 2 or 3. And that's it. You're talking to seasoned networkers, then come on. And they don't want to, because they know what's going to happen a few weeks from now. But if I said, look, Brian, we're going to help you get going. Whether you can pay, great. If you can't pay, doesn't matter. You're not going to be far behind. And when we've helped you make money, when we get to step 2, 3, and 4, you are going to pay it forward, like I am, for 10 people. But you're still going to have some profit left. You still have enough left for your upgrades. So every single person's doing 10. If you look at that compared to what happens in a real network, even when it gets busier, most people don't bring in 10 at all. And so that never really happens. So people will always bring in 10 and happily pay for them. So do you mind paying for 10? In a heartbeat. So I've had people say to me, can I pay for more than 10? Yes. Does that benefit me? Yes, because those coming in are coming into the community. So it doesn't matter. People say to me, yeah, but I'm bringing all my leaders in. They're not going under my 2 legs. I don't like that idea. Well, so would you want to make 600 or 6,000? Put them in the whole community. We're not going to steal your big players. Nobody wants to do that. But this way, people with experience make the money that they should be making. People without experience start making the same money. And that is going to generate a massive amount of momentum, which it's already starting to do. Because when one person, you've come in and you're paying for 10, 10 pays for 10, 100, 10 pays for 10, 1,000. The question I always ask networkers, I know you're in a program, have you got 100 active people in your business? And they go, no. And I said, well, if you've just paid for your 10 and those 10 are going to pay for 10, which they can't wait to, in a matter of days, not weeks, days, you've now got 100 people who are active, who can't wait to pay it for the rest of them. When we showed this to Danielle, we went, oh, this is going to be huge. We're going to have millions. You will have millions, because it doesn't slow down, and there will always be people. I used to be a HGV1 driver, driving the rigs around and stuff. And I was on what do you call it? I was like a temporary driver, agency driver, and I would go around and see. I could be like working for Royal Mail one week, and I'd deliver all these things around in a lorry overnight, and I'd see the regular drivers, and then I'd see them a week or 2 later in a different lorry with a different company. Networkers are exactly the same. So people say, yeah, we're going to run out of numbers. No, you're not, because all the networkers that are not making money anywhere else are going to come into where you are, because it's done for them without making them feel lazy. We've deliberately done it in a way where we pay it forward for people, and we say to them, we never want this money back, by the way. And they go, oh, why not? So because you're one of my 10. And they go, all right. So you don't want to make people feel bad because they can't pay. The world's struggling. Don't make someone's, feel bad because they just can't cut it, for whatever reason. And that's why, if you look at networking, it looks really great for a while, but it always slows down. But ours isn't going to slow down, because you don't know who's coming into your group. And every single one of those, whether they're great people or they're not, get a chance to participate, and they will happily pay for their 10 who want to do the same.
And you said one thing in there. Yeah, that makes sense. You said one thing in there that made me think of another question. You said upgrade to another level. So there's a cost for everybody to continue to upgrade, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell what those costs are?
Yeah. That cost comes out of your commission on an auto basis.
What are the costs?
Yeah, there's a button in the back office that says auto. You never want to take that auto button off, because if you're at level 1, you've earned 200. If you turn that off, you're not going to get the 600, and such like.
Gotcha.
So we do not get paid on the people, because a lot of people think we're getting paid on the people for joining. We are not. The company gets that money, and we'll get a training program for that money as ambassadors. We get paid on people upgrading, because they're bringing the people are coming in. And then more and more people are coming in, which obviously it's a 2 by 20. So therefore, there's an upgrade fee for you to be able to get paid on level 2, level 3, level 4, 5. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Can I address one other element of that question?
Yep.
I've just put into Google the question, how many people reach the legal age of 18 on any given day across the planet? Okay. Yearly, that is on average 440 million people. Yearly, which equates to 1.2 million every day. every single
Wow.
day of the year.
Okay.
So that's
Wow.
our audience on a daily basis. If we ever reach saturation.
And when you think we only need 64 people to make 9,745 a month, that ain't bad, is it? You know, compared to some other plans out there, you don't need a lot of people, and that's what's really attracting people. You know, that's amazing. Well done for that, Paul. That's going to be in our newsletter, isn't it, Coleman? In our update newsletter.
Yeah, I've got enough juice now for the newsletter, so it'll be going out next week.
Yeah. Anybody else? Your hand is up again, Ken. Did you want to say something, or is it just left it up there?
Yeah, I have this question. Gil Carter, I see you're with us. You sent me a couple of questions. Did you want to ask the question yourself, or did you want me to ask the question? Gil?
You asked.
Alrighty. Please ask Paul to explain what the upgrade auto finance is so I can explain it to others.
Right. Okay. So we've actually got a chart that I can send you. Obviously not for the public use, but for that. But it shows you on the chart what the upgrade fees are. So the upgrade fees initially will be 200. So when people get paid their money, we say, well, don't spend that 200 because you're going to need that to upgrade. So the initial one is 200. And then there's the next one is 330. And then out of that 330, $30 goes into your store or your shopping mall as a credit. Okay. And then the next one is 440. So I'll explain what happens to the $100. $40 goes into your store as a credit each month. And on step 5, the upgrade fee for that is $550. $50 goes into your store, and the $500 is used in single increments of $100 and pays 5 people above you. So it would pay 5 above you, level 4 would pay 4 above you, 3 above you, 2 above you, like that. Does that answer your question?
Pretty
Bill?
much. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so everyone is doing that. That's where the income comes from the upgrade fees for each level from 1 to 5, and then on level number 6, that upgrade is 1,000, but that's once a year, and then on level 7 it's 2,000. I think it's 2,500, and that's one off as a lifetime payment. But everyone that comes into your business after that, you're getting $100 on every single one. So it's quite substantial. But initially, we just want really people to focus on steps 1 to 5, because that will give them a 6-figure income. It gets them their freedom back, and it's enough to get everyone's attention, really. Out of that money is your upgrade fees, which is around about $1,600 a month. So you're really left with 9,745. If you take out the 1,350 from what you're going to pay for 10 people, that leaves you around roughly 8,500. But that's only 8,500 for your first month or 6 weeks. After that, you are not obliged to pay it forward for any more than 10. That's a commitment. That's what we've set to say this will keep going and it'll keep feeding. It won't die. But if people want to pay more, they can do, which only helps. So after that, every month they're earning 9,745 and onwards. Obviously, they're going to get to the step 6 and step 7. Is that all right?
Yeah. Would there be a visual of this at some point?
Yeah, there is a visual. The company's also making, because they want the new website open, they're also making small tutorial videos. So at the moment, we've been trying to do things and explain it and stuff like that. We've also had, we've got the company, PDF. Now, on the PDF, it shows you the whole of the plan, the matrix, the uni-level plan, where you get the bonuses, and then it shows the shopping mall, where you're going to make money on that. When we showed people that, they were fine on the matrix. When they got to the uni-level plan, which is the matching bonuses, showing that down 5 levels, they go, "Oh, I'm totally confused now." And then they go, "Oh, I'm going to get money from the shop. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get this." And so we stopped sending it out because it just totally confused people. And I said, but that's the way Des Alpes works. That's not the way we work. You know, so if you follow our plan, which is very, very simple, it's 3 things to do. You know, invite someone to look at our website, which Coleman put together. Watch the video where I explain it. I've done 4 videos now where I explain how it works as differently to network marketing. And then they say, right, okay, I need to make a choice. List 1 is self-funding, list 2 is paying forward. The second thing they do is make that choice and send a form in. The third thing they do is click the other button in the website and join the school so they can catch up with everything. Because, you know, look, going from the past, people got very frustrated when they're part-time in this kind of business. They go to work all day and they spend all evening answering questions from their members and they never get any work done. And then they creep to bed at 1 a.m. and the wife's gone mad. You know, she said, this isn't going to happen every night. So we're trying to really sort of say to people, we've set up this support system as a school, you know, and they're used to using Facebook kind of thing. So it's just like Facebook. If you go in there, everything that we can possibly give you, which is in conjunction with the shining stars, not Des Alpes, because we want to do it simpler and easier and to make more money for you, is all in there. So it's starting to, people are starting to bring more people in. But initially they were badgering their sponsors. Let me give a talk about that as well, because that's also changed. The person that brought you in is not your sponsor, it's your point of contact, your POC. Because we put everybody into the community, when it's time, and we do this sort of like on a rotator. When we know we can sign you up, Shobel will give you somebody's link. Like I got a lady called Fola Wilson, which Ken knows Fola. It just happened that Fola was actually my sponsor. I thought, oh, great, I know Fola, she's lovely. So she is my actual sponsor in the business. I can work with her, but I don't need to work with Fola. But my point of contact is the lovely old chap that you see on the videos, Dennis Owens, who I've known for 30 years. He's 93. So Dennis and I are in contact all the time, because obviously he's one of the 4. But that's how you're going to be. You won't possibly know your sponsor or have to have lots of contact. It doesn't matter. The person you're going to have contact with is the person that invited you into this, which still acts like a sponsor. Okay, your hands up again, Ken.
Yes, Paul, you've discussed several levels, and I think it's important that our folks understand the need for realistic expectations. Would you address, let's say that somebody joins the community this minute.
Yep.
They join, they're willing to pay themselves.
Yep.
What is the timetable? I know you can't be specific, but in general, when can they expect to see some activity?
Right. I'll tell you what happened to me, and that will give you a good idea. Because of some of the programs I've been involved in the past, which you probably know, I didn't want to, once I saw this, I was very excited about it, but I didn't want to attack it the way I always do. I know a lot of people, and everyone says, oh, Paul's going to go out and blast it and put it all over Facebook and everywhere. And people just join him. And of course, he's going to make a go of it. He always does. So I didn't want to do that. So I joined on January the 6th, and I invited 5 of my friends in, all of which did not want to sponsor or recruit people. And I thought, well, that's going to slow things down and give me a realistic idea. I had to know that Shoba's system works, because I wasn't convinced. You know, I thought, well, it sounds too good to be true. So I couldn't tell anyone about it. I did it all in secret. And when I joined Shoba's business, I was on her level 5 at that time when I joined it. She said, right, you're on my level 5. Since that time, from that time until the 22nd of February, so it wasn't 2 full months, I'd made 2 videos to help them, because she said, look, I'm glad you're here because I don't know how to get this across to people. You do your videos and you get it across to people. So I made 2 videos at that time, hadn't brought a lot more people in. And she said, oh, by the way, Dennis and I are at step 10. I said, oh, that's good. She said, no, step 10. I said, yeah. She said, but that means you're on step, if we're on step 10, you're on step 5. I said, no, I can't be. I haven't done anything yet. How can I be on a 6-figure? The best I've ever done a 6-figure income is 6 months. And that was with a company called Merchandise America. I said, so I've got a 6-figure income from nothing in 8 weeks, or under 8 weeks. She said, yeah. And I kept it a secret. So the very first video I made was called Our Quiet Solution, because I did it quietly. I didn't go out and blast it. The second video was your quiet solution. The third video was called show business to six figures. Because I often say to people, they say, what do you do? I said, I'm in show business. Oh, really? What kind? I said, I show people my business. They go, all right, that's good. Tell me. And it breaks the ice. And if I said I'm in networking, they run a mile. So, and the last one I made is called, what do you want to be remembered for? A lot of people like that because, we can all go somewhere and make money. So, any company, whatever it's going to produce something. But we really want to do this just to make money? No, we're going to make a massive difference here because of all the people around the world that we're going to help. So we are not going to be remembered for the money we've made. We're going to be remembered for what we did with the money. That's a big difference. People will want to join you because your business is of a higher scale. To me, it's classier, and to me, it's a privilege to be in here. So if I can do 0 to 6 figures in 8 weeks, that's what I'm telling people. That's what's going to happen. If you're new here today, I'm telling them, and the momentum now is even faster than it was back then. In 8 or 9 weeks, you should be at step 5. Absolutely, without a doubt. We think when the money starts, that could actually jump down to about 4 weeks or less. Awesome. So it took me 8 weeks, but when you see people getting paid every day and every month, and then they're getting the 1.5% back on the card, everyone that was on the fence wants to suddenly jump in. So the surge of people is going to be far more than what we've experienced so far. But we've got 32 people now at step 5 out of Shoba's 2,000 people. And I joined it in January, and that's from November. So she's now just filled level 12. She said, when I fill up level 13, we'll have another 32 people. So that's only 2,000 of us. If 2,000 of us just got one each, right, between now and launch day, her business goes to 4,000 people. And we've now got 64 people. Some of you are on this video call today who are going to be earning 6 figures. And that's what attracts people. They want some real money, real money now in something that's not going to collapse, where you haven't got to teach them how to use the product when most people are really good at shopping, buying stuff. And don't forget, you're going to have your $160 a month credit in your shopping mall or your store every single month. And if you don't spend it that month, you don't miss it. It rolls over. So if you just kept that every time you upgrade and people in your team upgrade, if you kept that in your shop, Christmas is going to be a blast this year, and it wouldn't cost you anything because it's all you've got your credits there. But I realistically think 0 to step 5, 8 weeks. It shouldn't take any more than that. It'll be less than that.
Thank you, Paul. If you look at the chat, you'll see a post from Peter. It's on the same subject. While we're on this subject, maybe you can address Peter's question here.
Yep, I'm just looking for it.
Can I just mention one thing before we get onto that, because it's relative to that question? Something that may not be particularly clear to a lot of people is that when you have your 2 referrals, they are considered to be your direct referrals, even though they're given to you by Shining Stars. They each pay their 145 or the 135, out of which you earn $100 as a referral commission. So at that stage, you've got $200. So I'm mentioning that because that $200 is required for the next upgrade. So that's where the $200 comes from, and that's the $200 you don't want to spend because that's going to contribute to your next upgrade. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the question on because I'm only on my phone, so I'm trying to find it so I can read it properly.
I can read it out for you if you like.
Yeah, please, do that. That'd be good. Yeah.
It's actually addressed to Ken, but of course it's a great.
Somebody called Peter had a question.
Yeah, Peter R. I don't have a working microphone on my laptop right now. Please thank Paul and all of them for doing the Zoom for us. Totally understand how things work, levels 1 to 5, which is absolutely brilliant. Can you please ask Paul to explain a little more about how levels 6, 7 and beyond work? I know he had mentioned on a recent Zoom that there would be some training for us, but when he says everyone that comes in below us after level 6 is worth $100 to us, is that $100 monthly, one time, or can he please explain how that works? Thank you so much.
It'd be $100 monthly. Yeah, it'll be $100 monthly. What we're going to do soon, because obviously Shoba, for those of you that haven't seen her, she's a little Indian lady, lives in Crawley in Sussex near Gatwick Airport. and she's 76. And for her to put this together, and she's refined it all the time. It's got better and better and better. So when she shows Coleman and I and Dennis, we're going, oh, it's like a Rubik's Cube. It looks nothing like a pyramid or anything else with structure. So no one can say it's a pyramid. Let's go, oh, it's like a giant-sized Rubik's Cube. Yeah, it is. But the way she's done it is so clever. And it's, but she said, like, now I was gonna hand it over to you at level 11. I was going to hand it over to you at level 12. She said, I'm now going to hand it over to you at level 13 or before, because we need to take responsibility for it. She can't do this. She's managing 2,000 people. So when we all sat down and said, like, when's the best time for you guys to take control of your business? You know, so it'll be your community of your community. There are 4 groups. There are yellow, red, blue, and green. The reason there's 4 groups is that in Sober's 2 legs, you've got an outside leg and an inside leg. That's what she means by 4 groups. So it's easy for her to manage groups than it is to try and, you know, do the things by spec. So we said, like, I think level 5 is going to be a good time for people to learn what to do, because 1, they're making plenty of money. You know, they don't need to go to work unless they're a firefighter or something like that, you know, and they want to stay there. So they can afford the time off now to get trained. And they're making enough money with that. So what Coleman and I suggested is we want to have some fun with it. So we just want to do training sessions in England, you know, and stuff like that, or just on Zooms. You look at the old companies, like I was involved in, like Amway and Herbalife and people like that. They had some fun with it. So why, if we're going to do a training session, which is tax deductible, by the way, and we have a travel company built in our system, so we can book our flights and everything else, we're going to be making some good money. But for us to keep the money, we need to have some expenses. So have some expenses in a hotel, flights, because you're going away for 4 days for training. We'll train for about a day and a half, and then we'll play for 2.5 days. But that will also motivate the hell out of the team to go, well, I'm on step 3. How do I get to step 5? Go and talk to people, you know, and if you want to get there a little bit quicker. But that way we can do it in stages, and we don't mind flying to different places. So, but we're thinking, well, let's start off in Greece and stuff like that, somewhere nice. And so we're going to spend some of our month going around just doing these training sessions. And after about a month or 2, you'll be doing the same thing, because people in your team, you will only be responsible for 128 people maximum. Okay, Sober's responsible for 2,000. And she said, like, can you imagine what it's going to be for me for 10,000? And people keep sending in duplicate forms. I said, yeah. She said, but when you get your 128 people, like Ken might be in the red group, I'm in the red group, you know, Coleman's in the yellow team. So you're going to look after your community in that team, because you are a 5-star, you're at level 5. So when those 128 people come in there, one of those people is going to get to 64 people, isn't it? Going to get step 5. Your work now halves. So you're going to train that person to go and look after their team. They'll have their own probably website like we've produced. They'll have their own job form, the same as we produce. So we've set all these things up, and they're easy to transfer over. So you'll be purely looking after your small community of 128 people or less. And every time someone gets to step 5, you've got less work to do, and you can work with a few more people. So it doesn't overwhelm people. And also everyone gets to run their own business without a lot of pressure. Does that make sense? Yep.
I have a question, but I don't know how to raise my hand. So.
Oh, that's all right. No, it's okay. Yep.
Okay. So with the upgrade auto financed, when I see the visual on that, it will show how much I need to hold in so to pay for it, and how much I can pull out at different times. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, because all your money is going to go straight into your smart wallet, so you can see your balances in there anyway. And you'll also, you can, so as long as you've got enough in there, say, well, I'm on step 3. The next step is going to be 440. I need to leave in there. So if you've got, 1,000 in there, say, well, I'll take out 500 and I'll leave 500 in there, because the next upgrade is 440. So as soon as the company sees you've got money in there, they will take the upgrade straight away, because they've done that. But they've done that previously with Sober, and she got her upgrade taken out, level 6 and everything like that. So yeah, they've done it that way, because I'm glad they do it on an auto upgrade, because you wouldn't want to miss it because you haven't left enough money in. So it's just it's common sense, but it's also just a bit of housekeeping when you just say, look, you know, leave something in there.
Yeah,
In your back pocket.
it's a business. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the other
Of course, I
question I
do.
have is, I mean, I've on other I've been around the bend for a long time as well.
Right. Yeah.
I'm 78, so that gives you some idea. So anyway, so and I've piffed people many times, like
Yep.
10 people, like at 300 a pop, and you know nobody did anything. So it's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I like this program because you're going to be able to help a lot of people. But my
Mm.
concern is human beings. Is there a way to force people to you know do their 10? Because I just know people. It's like, you know.
Yeah, you won't really need to. You won't really need to force them because they can just see their money constantly going up. I mean, we're only really talking about the matrix money here, but as Danielle and Danny say on their calls, we're going to make more money from the shopping mall than we are from the matrix. But really, you know, if someone does that, yeah, I would. If it was me, I would very politely embarrass them and say, like, really, you're not going to pay for your first five? Because we're going to do it five at a time. We're not going to do the whole 10. So, right, you're at level 2 now, level 3, you can do 5. And you go, okay. Well, so they're going to come onto a Zoom call with us, with those 5 people. And we're going to say, right, you're going to transfer 135 from your wallet straight to their wallet. So there's no transaction fees. And then that person's going to upgrade to become an ambassador. Right, we've done the first one. Let's do the second one. And it'll take a few minutes to do the 5. So, well, when you get to the next step, so you say you're on step 3, well, when you get to step 4, you're going to make 3 grand. Out of that 3,000, you're going to pay for 5. And they've still got plenty of money left. They go, right, great, done. But all the time they're doing that, they're still getting paid every day. So they can, visually, they can see how big this is going to go. So you wouldn't not want to pay for people just to make that little bit of money that you made then, because the money wouldn't increase. And we have had conversations about this. And Shoba, she's very polite and very nice. And she said, if there's anyone wants to be crooked with this, we'll take them out. They come out of our system. They come out of our system and they can go and work Des Alpes 2 by 2 by 2 and see how hard it is for them.
So there is a little bit of force there. That's good. Okay.
Well, yeah. You know, you wouldn't want to lose that income, you know. And you've got a lot of people helping you. At the end of the day, you've got so many people helping you, and all these systems that Coleman's put together to make life easier. And everyone says sometimes we get a little bit frustrated because we feel like we're customer support. You know, we both stay up late at night, right? And we could be on the phone together, 2:45 in the morning. And Coleman said, you're having a laugh. And I said, what? He said, someone's messaging me. I said, funny enough, I'm getting messages too. I've just had 4. You know, they're expecting us to answer messages at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he said, come on, please respect our time. I live in England, Coleman's in Ireland. Go and look at the world clock, wherever you are, and talk to us at a reasonable time. So we get a bit frustrated being treated like customer support, but we just wanted to make sure that we don't talk right and walk left. Okay, if we say we're going to do something, we do it. So I think there's a lot of people over the last 5 or 6 years have just felt so let down with the support, not just from the companies that we've been involved in, but the people that brought them in, you know, and some of them are just like commission merchants. They just want the money in because I'm going to make a buck on it. If you think about how this works, when you're talking to someone, so, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be your sponsor. Oh, right. What is that? And then what that tells them is, I'm not going to make a buck out of you when you join. You will through the system, but you know, some people say, oh, you only want me because I'm going to make 100 quid on me. No, I'm not. I'm going to be your point of contact. I'm going to help you, but your sponsor is somebody else. And even they don't make that initial money. They're going to get it through the community. Oh, right. And it takes away that pressure that you're not a commission merchant. You're there really to help them because you wouldn't want to leave them behind. If you start making 5, 6, 7, 10 grand a month, and they said, well, how long have you been doing this? Well, you know, since April. And you haven't told me. Cheers. Am I not a friend? You know, so I often say to people, you know, that there's friends for a season and there's friends for a reason. The friends for a season are the money grabbers. You know, they're on something else next Wednesday. But the friends for a reason, they're the ones you go back to, even though you've lost money together. They say, like, you know, yeah, we've lost money together, but we're bigger than that. You know, this time we're going to make it. You know, let's give it another go. And I often say to people, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. right? You know, I get let down. People say, you know, I mean, Dennis couldn't get me into this. 2 months he was badgering and badgering me. I said, Dennis, I don't want to do it. I don't want to start all over again. Everyone using my contacts, using my skills and things just to pull the rug on me. I've had enough, you know, and you've got to call it a day. But when I did look at it, it was well worth the perseverance. So sometimes you want to persevere with people. But if you explain some of the stuff we've covered today, the stuff we take away the limitations, so they won't be doing something they don't want to do, which is great. They make money pretty much instantly. So the first commission, the $200, even though they won't spend it, it's more than they paid out, 135 or 145, which is great. But the main thing is they can not see that they're going to waste the next 6 months because it's a community, and the word community always brings back good times. It always brings back helpful. It means helpful. That's what it is. So it's not upline, downline, team builds. I actually don't like the word team build because, like you were saying, I've paid it forward for a lot of people in the past. I paid it forward for 40 people in a company that we left a couple of years ago. Never got any of that money back. Most people didn't want to do anything. And the people that pay it forward for people are usually those that have got a bit of money behind them, but they can only pay it forward for a certain amount. And then it dies, doesn't it? It stops because they haven't done anything. And I also said, I've also in the past, that's why we got the 10 thing. The 10 thing that showed me it was brilliant. If I've had people in the past that I said, I'll pay for you, great. As soon as I make this money, I'm going to give it you straight back. Well, after a while, they don't want to attend the meetings. They don't want to come on the Zoom. They don't want to hear anything. And they've backed off. And it's very difficult with friends because you either get the money back or you get the friend back. You don't get both. That's how it is. But with this, because they're coming in and you're saying to them, someone's going to pay for you. It might not be me. It might be someone else. We don't want that money back because you're one of our 10. And they go, oh, right, great. So they don't feel bad about it. But then you know that they're going to pay for 10. And say, well, do you want a really solid business that's not going to crash? Yeah, I do. Do you want to go out and recruit lots of people? You know, let's go out with some flyers. I don't really want to do that again. Good. Because you haven't got to, because the whole of the community is bringing in 10. All right, you know, and it'll go faster after the 18th when we all start getting paid. It'll go a lot faster.
Well, yeah, you brought up a good word, faster, because I see
we love faster. You know, money likes speed. Speed likes money.
I have a couple of questions. Forgive me if I forget.
So, no, please. That's great. That's what you're here for.
Yeah. So, since you used the word faster, because I think it's going to move very fast when people, you know, actually have money in there, whatever. But I could see this filling up really fast. And so I'm a little bit concerned, are we going to have enough babies being born to get to the age 18 so we can still bring in more people? Because I did the math on it, you know, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. At around 38th, 39th level, we're out of people. Now, that's not going to happen right away, but I'm thinking longevity. It's important to have longevity, right? So and because I see this could go really fast once people get the message. So I'm just wondering, that's something, I mean, short range, this is going to be great. I'm just concerned about longevity.
No, it's a really valid question. And Paul did some research earlier, and he said, like, you know, the people that actually reach at the age of 18 is 440 million people a year, you know, which is like colossal amount of money, about amount of people. But we only get paid down to level 20 anyway. We don't go past that, and we've got the other 2 incomes. And if you just change someone's buying habits, where they're not buying from who they normally buy from, whether it's Amazon or Temu or something else, they're buying from their own shop, you know, their own store. I always say to people in England, you know what Harrods looks like? Like, yeah, I know what Harrods. Imagine standing outside Harrods and you're looking in and you know that every single vendor, because all those stores are not owned by Harrods. You know, it's like we have a big company called B&Q over here, big hardware store. Everything in B&Q is not owned by B&Q. It's owned by individual vendors who just rent the space. I said, but every vendor in that inside that store is going to give you a nice discount for going in there. And that's your store. So you wouldn't look anywhere else to buy anything else. And also, the people that are in your matrix are also in your store. So if you looked at people over the last few years that have gone into e-commerce, they hear, oh, I bought myself an online store. Yeah, but how do you get people to look at it? How do you get buyers? Oh, I've got to spend loads of money on traffic. And then any profit they're making, they're spending on traffic to stand still. And I said, well, you're not looking for traffic because the people in your matrix who are cycling every single month, earning you money, they're in your store. And that's why, they're going to spend a lot of money in the store, especially as we've got a travel business. And they, as he said on the Zoom today, they're looking at doing other things as well. So, I think the money's going to be colossal, but it's more money than we need. It's more money than, it's more than enough. And we're going to spend a lot of our time. There's something, if you went on Google and just typed in RAAC, RAAC, in the UK, all over the UK and Ireland and Scotland, in the 1950s, there was houses built with substandard concrete. From 1950 to 1990, it happened. A lot of people are still living in those houses, and the roofs are like tipping. The walls have got big cracks in. They're not in a good state. The councils won't fix them. Then it's not my problem. It's not my problem. The insurance company's saying the same thing. Well, that was 1950 problem. It's not our problem. So those people are stuck in those houses. So Shobha said, how do we get to talk to those people? I said, well, we go there. Let's go to Essex and well, how are we going to talk to them? I said, I'll knock on doors. I don't mind. If we knock on doors and we get their community centre full of people, we can say, this is what we're in. We're in a business. It's a pay it forward community business. It's a humanitarian business. This is how it's worked for us, changed our lives. We would like you to get involved in it. If you want to pay, great. If you don't want to pay, you don't have to. So no one can say, oh, they're just coming here. They're making money out of our misery. Then don't pay. It's okay. We'll pay. Because no one's going to lose, because that one person is going to pay it forward for 10. But in 8 weeks' time, and I know this because I did it, you can only sort of quote a time that you've done. You can't speculate. I said 8 or 9 weeks easy. In 8 or 9 weeks' time, they could either get builders in to fix those houses, or they can say, I'm going to move to somewhere nice. And then we move to another part of the UK. But every area, wherever you live, is downsizing. So if we just went to those communities to say, look, I need to speak to you. I've got some good news, real good news. And they go, yeah, it's going to cost me a fortune. Actually, it's not going to cost you a bean. How's that? No, we're not going to lose any money, because everyone's got, as soon as they're in, but when that new person on the pay it forward gets to step 2 or step 3, which is it's not many numbers at all, they're already starting to pay it forward. So it's not like someone on pay it forward says, well, I've got to be in it 2 months before I'm making enough money to pay it forward. They'd be doing it on step 2 and step 3. So you can see how fast it goes. So we're not just looking for business opportunity people. We're looking for someone who's got a problem. One of the things I'm going to do in my village, I live in a little tiny village, middle of the country. It's lovely. But my nearest shop is 8 miles away. So I'm actually going to pay for a village shop. I'm actually going to have it centered inside the village hall. It's going to be open on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And people say, well, that's nice. Well, why would you do that? I said, why wouldn't I do that? We need a shop. It's 8 miles away. There's a lot of pensions. I'm a pensioner. A lot of pensions around here. And they go, what's it going to cost you? I said, probably about 9,000. Really? All right. But I'm either going to pay tax or I'm going to buy a shop, which is better. Which is better. And after that, next year, you might, if you're on Netflix, you'll see a video called Banker Dave, a guy called Dave Fishwick. And in England, he actually created his own bank. He's up in the north of England, and he's a tremendous guy, but all he ever does is help people. And that's all he's ever done. But he got to become a millionaire by selling minibuses. Now, I've already had conversations this week on email with Dave Fishwick, and I said next year, I'd like to speak to Dave about this program, because I think that would make, if he saw this and how this works, so I've sent him the videos, I think he might jump on board. But I said, well, next year, I want to buy 6 minibuses off you for my village, and the local council can do 3 minibuses one way, 3 minibuses the other way. How many things could you benefit as causes? Every country's got a cause they want to do to. All those people are potential. I know a lot of people that are famous, and to me, they're not famous. I tell them they're just ordinary people with unusual jobs, and they love that. So we don't talk about stuff. But one of these friends that I've got, she's actually a very well-known star on Yellowstone, and I explained this to her. And she said, this is fantastic. This is going to be amazing. She said, I need to see this working with the shopping mall and everything else. If I can see it working for 2 months, I can put my name behind it. She said, but I can't do that if not. I said, okay. She said, I was going to ask you, once your money picks up, would you help me support my dad's cause? Her dad's dead now, but my dad was always supporting orphanages. I said, yeah, of course. And she said, but there's no point us going to the guys that run the orphanages because they're like CEOs. They just want to take the money in. I said, fair enough. And I said, like, if you get me in front of the people that run the orphanages, we can sign them up for free. And in 10 weeks' time, 8 to 10 weeks' time, I know there's 10 grand coming in. Those kids are going to live very, very well. We can do orphanages all over it. She said, this is fantastic. If it does that, she said, if you have any global events, she said, then I'll come along as long as you're there, because I'll be nervous on my own, and I'll tell everyone what a good thing this is, because this is the most best humanitarian thing I've ever seen. People like her who are multimillionaires, everyone expects them to just keep coughing their money out because they've got it. She said, but all the things we normally want to support, they're not getting supported because no one's got any money. But we could do that. And even donating is tax deductible. So she said, great. And I thought, wow, that's going to be nice. And we were friends probably on the telephone and video calls for about 5 months. And she said, it's great having a friendship with you, she said, because most people just want to be friends with me because of who my dad was. I said, okay. And she said, you don't know, do you? I said, never looked it up. You're just Jennifer, and that's it. All right. She said, go and look up Michael Landon. So I looked up, I said, oh my God, you're little Joe's daughter from Bonanza and Highway to Heaven. So great. But if we can get in touch with people like that, she thought this was a great idea. And she said, show me 2 months worth of shop going, people doing it working. She said, let's go and help some people, because they can open doors that I can't open because of who they are. And everyone knows people like that. So you never know who's going to come on board that can open doors because of who they are. It's a like, know, and trust thing. But that could be really good. Why not? If I didn't have this, how would I possibly be able to help orphanages? I don't know. How would I have my shop? I don't know. How would I have my minibuses and it go going through villages? I don't know. Nothing else pays enough. This pays more than enough. So it's going to be quite good. So all the people are not just home-based business entrepreneurs. It's people who just need help.
Yes. So regarding the 128 that you talked about, your whatever that is.
It's 128 members like yourself. You'll be controlling 128. So like the forms come in now.
But I'm looking at time freedom as well. So I'm looking at how to do that the most efficient, and if there could be at some point a training on the best way to do like Zooms or whatever, and to help those 128, but you're not spending, because I've done that. I've done the other thing on the phone like 10, 12 hours a day. I don't want to do that.
No, you don't want to do that. No,
Okay.
I mean, Shoba said,
let me finish.
Sorry.
So in other words, so the 128, once they get to that fifth level, they need to be doing what you're doing. Is that a point where you can back off a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because if you look at that 128 and someone in that 128 you're looking for, someone is upgrading, and when they're at level 5, that's 64 of your 128. Well, they're now gone. We're going to train them. We're going to train them on how to run their business. Right?
Who is we?
Me and Coleman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I won't have to be doing all of that, or what? I've just
no. I mean, you're going to be involved. Sure, you're going to be involved. But as you said, you want to have a life, and we want to have a life. Now, if I had to do what Shoba did and get to 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, it's going to be too much, And we haven't got the software to cope with that. We don't need it because Coleman's got 2 guys that he knows. One's in Germany, one's in Ireland. And we got another guy, Ivan. Ivan knows a guy in I think it's Denmark. And those guys are like really good with systems to a high level. They are going to a degree, automate what we're doing. At the moment, we're doing everything manually. But when Shoba trains us, because we've got to get trained first, when she trains us on how to do this, we want to fly those guys and say, right, this is what we're going to do. Show us how we can make this a lot easier for everybody else.
Ah,
So
great.
so we can't fully automate it because our software, our system can't be integrated with Des Alpes' system. So it's different. But then again, you're going to have a lot of people in your business earning six figures. I've never had lots of people in my business in the past earning six figures. I have, but they didn't. But because of this community and the way it works and the 10, and you know, it just creates nice people. We're not bringing in rogues, just all you want is someone who's going to be kind. Say, you kind? Yeah, this is the business for you then. And generally, people want to help everybody else. But we understand that 128 people that you'll be looking after, there'll be people that sending in forms to you each day and they go, okay, that's like the job form comes in. You put it into your master matrix, which is like a tiny version of Shoba's master matrix. And when that grows to 128 people, well, somebody in there is probably at 64. Well, it's now time for him to go fly the nest and run his own, up to 128. But when they start,
Using the automated system that you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay. So I have a
Yeah.
question in terms of a marketing question, and I don't know if this would be allowed. So I want to, would you, and I'm just making it up right now, so forgive me.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, and the question would be like in a text or something like that. Would it be worth your time to spend 39 minutes to find out in 90 to 120 days that you can be earning a six-figure income? Would that be legal enough to say?
It would do because it's not a specific income. Yeah, because I know, especially in the States, and that it's very you can't say. I mean, when I was doing Herbalife,
No, I understand.
You can't do that. You can say, well, if you look at level three, level three is $1,400, and you say, well, oh, look at this level three. It doesn't take long to get to level three. Step three, level three would probably pay for your car, right? Step four would pay for your car and your house payment. Step five, the magic number, will pay for your car, your house, and holidays. You haven't mentioned any dollar amount, but they know in their head what that cost is to them. And if step five pays for that, this is a great thing to be involved in.
Yeah, I'm just wanting something to grab them really quick, and then they can find out about it. And
Yeah, well,
because actually, it would probably be faster than that. But if I say 90 to 120 days, people can go, but that for them, that would be like amazing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And if it turns out to be, I don't know, 80 days or 70 days, then they're a happy camper, right?
Well, I mean, my mentor was a man called Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn always taught me to say, like, you gotta do your story. Your first 30 days is the most important because that's your story. What happens to you in the first 30 days? Well, my first 60 days, I went from nothing to six figures. It's a joke. That's madness. And I didn't really go at it like I normally go at it. Didn't do anything like that. So I'm thinking, wow, imagine if I'd have put that work in, I'd have done it in 4 weeks easily, But if you go, are you in our school community, Gil?
Yes.
Great. If you look at a lady called Hillary, she's based in Canada. Hillary's great.
I did.
Yeah, she does these lovely captions, and she puts some suggestions in for like Facebook and social media.
Well,
if we all try,
I'm not on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook, but I'm just playing with other ideas. I like playing with other ideas.
Well, so, you can see my camera. I'm going to show you another idea in a minute. But she's got some great things there. Like, well, you probably got like Craigslist and stuff like that you can put stuff into. But I would prefer, because the reason we're having so many duplicates in our business is people are placing adverts on home-based business groups. So they're just blasting it out to people. They don't know them. And because they look at the website, come in and go, this is good. I filled in a form. And then we think, well, who invited you? Sometimes we've got to decline it because there's no name in the bottom because they don't know who placed the advert. So we're saying, if you're going to put it on your Facebook or your social media, put it on there. But I only put it on my social media, Facebook, because of my friends and family. I know they're watching me. And every now and again, one will say, I've been watching a while now. I'm intrigued. Show me the video. Because I won't put video links in social media. Facebook don't like it. And it gives the wrong impression. I said, no, you need to email me and then I can drip feed them. And then when someone says they're interested, I said, let's have a quick call like this. Let's have a call. When you're face to face with someone, the whites of the eyes tell the truth. People say a lot of things with their mouths, but the eyes tell the truth. They can kind of guess whether you're having their leg up. But from a marketing point of view, I used to use this little card for many years, and it was the words of Jim taught me: if you share a good idea often enough, it will eventually fall on good people, which is true. And if I give that card to someone, they go, "Oh, so I must be a good person then." I said, "Well, yeah, I don't give my cards out to anyone. If I like you, I think you're good for my business, I want you in." On the other side is a very small pitch about a simple home-based business, doesn't say what it is. I never put my phone number on there. I only ever put my name and my email address because I don't want to be disturbed at 2 a.m, but I want them to get hold of me. I learned a little trick from what's his name? Frank Calabro Jr. You probably have heard of him. Frank had a $20 bill. Mine's a £20 note, right? So it looks like a £20 note, feels like a £20 note because ours are like plasticky now. And they go, "All right, so here's my business card. Have this." They go, "Oh, no, I couldn't take it. Couldn't take a tip." I said, "No, the real money's on the inside." And when they open it up, there's a pitch inside, but we're going to have, that's not the original, but that was from a company I was with a while ago. But we're going to have a QR code, right? That QR code goes to our website. So they get to look at our website, see my video. Thanks, see my video. They can decide one or two, but on the bottom of your money business card, you're going to have your name and email address. So people don't get lost. I mean, if I threw my business card on the floor, nobody would pick it up. If I throw a £20 note on the floor, someone's going to pick it up. Nobody leaves it. They go, "Oh, that's in the pocket," and they think, "I've got you." And if you go to the gas station and it's one of those where you've got to put your debit card in to pay, when you leave, you fold that in half again, and you put it in the slot where they put their credit card, and then the guy behind you goes, "Look at that idiot. He thinks you've got to put money in. He's lost his money, and it's a credit card." So I'm smiling because I know what he's going to do. He has to pull that out to get his card in there. When he pulls it out, he's got my business card. The whole point of a business card is to get business, isn't it? Not just to say where I live, but you can do things like that for marketing. If you don't do social media, that's great fun. And I used to do that. If you go out with 10 of your friends, 10 people go out and you're all handing out $20 bills, right? Even if you're broke, you feel like you're not broke, and it's tremendous fun. No one ever says, "I don't want one." No one says that. "No, thank you. It's a 20. It's a 20. Oh, thank you. I've got some good news for you. There you go." Stuff like that. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Is there any technical questions? Because I'm conscious of Coleman's time because his wife's going to slap the hell out of his neck. Is there any technical questions that anyone wants to ask? Because Coleman's real good on that.
Could I take a picture of that card on both sides real quick?
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I'll put it in the group. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
If you message me in the school group, and I'll send you the copy of that card.
Perfect.
I haven't redesigned what's going to be on the inside yet. We want to make it nice and simple, but and then
on your business card too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nice and simple. Less is more sometimes, isn't it? Yeah, anything we can do to help you guys, just ask. I mean, we are a community. We're not like upline, downline, sidelines. It's a community. It's there to help everyone. Everyone's going to win here, which is really nice.
All right. Thank you so much, Paul. We're a little bit over an hour now, so
all right.
Unless there's any questions, folks, I think we can call this one a day.
I'll just jump in there briefly. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I can hear you.
Yeah. I'm sure. I think Paul Thompson and some of you guys were on the update call that we just had from Dennis there today, and he actually went in and showed the back office or the inside of the actual virtual debit card provider that they're using. And also what he did mention as well is that we will get access. He will be doing a show and tell on Zoom. He'll be sharing the back office of the new 2.0 Des Alpes back office on Wednesday. So we literally are, what date's today? The 10th, isn't it?
It might be the 11th, I think. I don't know.
11th. Well, Sunday next week. Long. We're literally going live Sunday next week. So time is of the essence now at this stage, and all the pieces are starting to come together. So really at this stage, Ken, you're doing a fantastic job. Myself and Paul see every person that comes in as we cross-check everything. Paul Thompson and all of the other guys, I see some of the names here. guys, if there's anything we can do, reach out to us in school. Reach out to us in relation to the simple system we have, the 1, 2, 3 system. It's quite simple. You can duplicate something like that later on if you want to with your own brand and stuff. And if you have any technical questions, now's your time to shout, because I'm literally at a barbecue here and I need to go out and start, get my apron on and start helping, you know.
Starving, mate. Yeah.
So I'll be here for another 5 minutes to answer any technical questions.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coleman. I don't see anything in the chat group. I don't see any hands raised, so I think I think we can call this one.
Okay, I have a question for all of you. Do you feel more confident now than you did an hour ago? Does it resonate with you, and it makes sense? Because it's sometimes, even when like old buggers like me that have been doing this for donkey's years, we have to pick our words, and you're trying to say the right thing at the right time that makes sense. Because if people don't say "me too" and they start saying "so what," you've lost them, haven't you? You know. So we just got to try and answer things in the most truthful manner that we can, to get it across, to say, do you know what, this is different, and I'm starting to understand it. Because sometimes people don't want to understand what's different. They're so used to doing things the way they've always done it. But you know, they'll be going, what do you mean I can't hand out my link? No, you don't hand your link out. Well, that sounds a bit, no, you give your link to me, and your link goes into the community, and then your link will go out to 2 people. Your 2 is done. You know, oh, right, okay. So when they realize that, so no links, don't have to recruit, don't have to think. And the silly thing is, even though they don't have to recruit, people are bringing in more people than they've ever done before in their lives. Like David Bacau in Papua New Guinea's brought in about 160 people himself, you know, just himself. But that's going to make a massive difference in Papua New Guinea, because, you know, the average income is $200 a month. So if they can't pay 145, it's half a month's money. So, you know, yes, it's a lot of people paying it forward, but they can't wait to pay it for 10. It'll change their lives. Absolutely, you know. Paul, you've got over 100 people now you've brought in, haven't you? I mean, Ivan's done the same. And you're thinking, well, who does that in networking if your name's not Ken Russo, right? I know you've done it, Ken. But who does that? Not many people do that. So this is the average person's best chance. It really is, where they can come in, not feel out of place. You know, like, you know, you go golfing and the pro golfers don't want all the new people on the course because they're in the way. Well, that's how it is in networking business sometimes. No one's in the way here. Everyone, even someone that pays it forward, is just as valuable as a person who's paid, you know. But we have to try, we do try and say to people, if you can pay, you can afford to pay, please pay. Because, you know, it's got to be an 80-20 balance kind of thing, like, you know, the 80-20 rule. We need enough people to be able to pay for the people that can't pay, to allow them to get to step 3, where they start to pay it forward. You know, so, you know, the good old Dennis, before I come on board, he was out all the time just getting payers. He just had to do his best. But now the ball's rolling, it's a lot easier.
Can I make a suggestion just before we close?
Yeah.
We've got 24 people on the call. We've had 1 or 2 who've only just joined us, so they'll be able to see the recording. But here's what I'd like to suggest. If everybody who's on the call, anyone who's excited about joining the Shining Stars community, would you just like to pop a 1 in the chat to see how many people are excited about joining?
Oh, that'd be good.
We've got 2 so far.
We've got 6.
3. As I can see. Here we go. Well done, guys. Just pop a 1 in the chat. We're excited about this opportunity.
This is going to be different for you. You know, it's going to be good.
Peter, excellent. Thank you, sir. A few more, perhaps. That's a good result. Well done, guys.
Lovely. Thank you.
Paul and Coleman. And
no, right. We love these. I mean, look, I mean, these work, Paul, as you know. I mean, when you asked me to do this with you, and you had 11 people there from different parts of the country, it was 11 people who all joined. 9 paid. I think it was 9 paid and 2 pay it forward. And they even said, like, we're going to change to a 1. And now it's gone to over 100. So you can actually, when it gets from 0 to 100, you can see 1,000, can't you? You can just see it, you know. I think, well, It's proved itself. You know, a lot of people sort of say, well, you know, convince me. I said, no, I don't do that. I don't do any convincing. You know, we've proved ourselves. It works, and it really does, and it will work for you. It's because I did mine in secret. I know it will work for you. I didn't go do what I normally did, and that's the difference for me. You know, it was difficult not to talk to people that I knew would be good in this, but I thought if I do that, I've lost the chance of proving that Shoba's put something clever together. And I dared do it. You know, I thought, no, I've got one chance of proving this works. Otherwise, everyone's going to say, well, it's him, and it. You know, he's got his big list out. I haven't even contacted a fraction of my list yet. Been too busy. With you lot.
Likewise.
Anyway, thanks, guys. It's been lovely to see you all.
Yeah, one last thing there. Somebody's just mentioned, Brian Brock will pay next weekend. Well, you won't actually be able to pay up until the point, well, unless and until you get your registration link. So it might be a little bit later than next week. But there's no opportunity to pay right now because the registration links are not open as yet. But moving forward from the 18th over through the course of the process, you'll receive your registration links. And at that stage, that'll be an opportunity for you to pay for your memberships and whatever's needed. There we go.
Yeah.
Stay in touch with the community, everybody. That's where the information will be.
Yeah. As I say, Coleman and I we're going to do several Zoom workshops every day. Well, not Sundays, but we're going to do several workshop Zooms to help everyone come on so we can walk you through it, the sign-up process, the paying process, registering with your wallet and registering with your KYC. And then we will get your 10-digit number back, which is your referral link. We'll put that back into the community. So you won't be saying, I've got to do this on my own. What do I do? You know, if you come and use the workshop Zooms, and we'll have those probably 2 hours apart.
Thank you, Paul and Coleman.
Oh, good. No, thank you. Good. Okay, thanks ever so much. Thank you, Ken, for putting this on. Really appreciate that. And Paul.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Great. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll catch you soon.
Yeah, look forward to seeing all you guys in school. I'll be able to put a face
Happy
to
Mother's Day to you gals.
Oh, Mother's Day in America at the minute, is it?
Yes.
Brilliant.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have a great weekend, guys, and it's a pleasure to connect with you.
Yeah, and you. Lovely. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
That's good.